I'm just shooting a video while I'm driving, so I don't even know if the audio is going to come out. But I'll check that. No one's watching anyway, so these are just like energetic videos at this point because I've slammed these people hard. I've stayed alive 9 years now trying to disclose what's going on. That is words that are really hard to speak because it's gotten to the point now where it's gone insane crazy with the level of craziness, you know, and I have to come out and talk about this stuff. In amongst all this deceit. So I'm heading back up home in Blakeview, which I have to get out of there soon, but anyway, this video is one of the hardest, which is why I'm doing it while I'm driving, and don't even care, because no one's going to believe this. I wouldn't believe this if I heard someone say it, probably not, unless I'd been following the actual truth the whole time, and then it would make a lot of sense. Otherwise, people are kind of asleep, and they don't want to think that pedophile rings can reach extents like this, that they can get this kind of assistance, even off-world assistance. And I'm talking jump chairs, jump rooms, consciousness is key here, and that's the realm we've entered now. Initially, you know, being a trafficking situation, corrupt members of the police force and underground or illegal crime gangs basically have trafficked my son since he was 6 years old. Now, he's been deeply manipulated, and there is still a possibility that they've affected his consciousness as well. Yeah, there's just so much. I've heard this person communicating with my son since he was about 10 or 11. When he was 10, somebody gave the okay to use telepathy on a 10-year-old boy, and they began torturing my son in his mind, talking to him. Kids don't understand what is happening to them, and that's very scary for them. I don't know if my son actually survived that. Like I said, I'm driving, I'm trying to focus on this. These are videos I was never going to put out, ever. I could never speak this, ever. This is stuff that the pain is so deep. It's very hard for people to stay here on this planet. Very hard for people to stay around with this happening. But I'm not letting them have that, because there's also a couple of feral pigs that have started up a betting ring trying to get me to commit suicide. Now, they know that I'm in suicide mode, obviously, with all this happening, but that's not going to take me, and I've gotten past that now, and I'm at the point where, you know what, I'm going to hold space for my son, and I'm going to do whatever I can to bring this forward for him and for all the other victims. There are many kids now who have been trafficked and killed as well. I've been witness to this, as I have one foot in other realms as well. So my gifts went off the chain when Paul was connected to me in 2019. Obviously, that was a telepathic connection. It was one-sided. He could see everything I was doing and thinking, and was in my mind. I couldn't see anything what he was thinking or doing or anything. I could just hear him relaying everything I was doing. So it was a 24/7 psychic watch, and that lasted 2 years. Overcame that, which is people don't. You need to understand that people don't. This has happened to a lot of celebrities, a lot of people, but when I say celebrities, that's what we can see, okay? So that is a reference point for people to be able to notice this. I don't know if I will mention any names because, that could open a complete can of worms and, whoa. So, somebody allowed that to happen to my son when he was 10. And I'm sitting here speaking these words calmly, but people can't even grasp what I went through. I can't talk on my son, okay? People are sitting back saying, well, what about? I cannot speak on that. Very much. So this is just so fucking redundant. Sitting here talking about this. So I'm now heading back to my home, which is full of portals. That was specifically set up before I moved in, the portals. And there's an illegal crime gang that has basically done that, has set up these portals in my home, and they run prostitutes, dirty, very dirty prostitutes, for the purposes of blackmailing people. Now, Nigel did this. I overheard conversations where he did this to other people. He would send his girls out to impose on them even, and then would hold that over them. I even heard him driving around the neighbourhood at one point. I heard someone driving around the neighbourhood at one point, threatening people at Northfield and saying, you've all been with our girls, so you better keep your mouths shut or everyone's going to find out. So they've blackmailed, they've threatened, they've targeted people, anyone who wanted to speak out on what was going on. Because there's other people in the exact same position who have lost family members, who have had their children taken and trafficked. And they've targeted every single one of them. Not just that, Paul has had a psychic watch in my mind since 2019. And he's known everybody that could be a threat to him because he's had access to my conscious field. So, he can access all my memories, things like that. He's picked out anyone who could be a threat. Also, from my memories, picked out anyone who could be someone that they can get on side, whether it's through jealousy or somebody I've had dealings with. Actually, I've never even had bad dealings with anybody. So, if they have found people, there's a lot of manipulation going on. So, someone they can manipulate to get on side. She said this about you, or whatever. I'm basically a regular person. We're a family. I don't sit around talking shit about people. I don't rob people. I don't grift. I'm not interested. Do you know what I mean? I don't even involve myself in other people's business. I'm not interested in social media. What I want to do here is evolve, grow, expand. That's basically where I'm at. Those are things you can put in your bag and take with you. Nothing else is coming with you when you leave. And I know where I'm heading and what I'm expanding into. So, that's everything for me. So he had a psychic watch and basically has known everything. Has had access to all of that information, which has made it very easy for them. And at the beginning, when he was connected to me, somebody has allowed that to happen. Somebody has facilitated that, okay? Because this was during the time when the planet was changing energetically. People were calling it an ascension. That's a majorly triggered word, and it's used so much. I don't even know what that means, really. is kind of an expansion, I guess, an expansion of people's consciousnesses. So we were going to get more switched on, more people getting a bit more telepathic. You were just going to be a bit more of a bullshit meter, not be able to be full, wake up a little bit, all sorts of gifts. And it depended where people went with that as to how far it would have gone. I mean, like, we have the ability to take flight. We have the ability to grow limbs. There are things that we can do that people just don't understand is possible, because we're told that we're, lowly little weak-ass sinners, basically, and we shouldn't even be here. Reality is, we're the ones with all the energy, and this is what I have realised pretty quickly. We're battery packs. These people don't actually have any energy, and I didn't realise that until I was plugged in with hundreds of energy cords. What they would call a super empath, a psychic. So yeah, that's what they're after, and hundreds of energy cords have been plugged into me, going in various directions. Back at Northfield, I had an experience, and the Prince of Darkness, whoever that being is, I know it sounds ridiculous, but there is a being who calls himself the Prince of Darkness. There actually is. So yeah, basically that person or entity came through and checked out what kind of sexual energy that I had. I didn't even realise what that meant at the time until I moved down here to Blakeview. This house was purposely set up, for sure. But yeah, when I moved into Blakeview, they started really heavily on my son. I would walk into my son's room and I would hear this person in his head, which sounded like Paul or his brother, young 30-something year old. Yeah, he'd be 30 at this point. He'd be like close to 40 at this point. But yeah, man-child. Anyway, I would hear him say in my son's mind, tell your mum to get her fucking hands off you and shut the door, the bitch. And my son would flinch and tell me to get out. That's just one example. We were driving to school one day, and there was a child protection advertisement that came on the radio, and my son, we started talking about it, and I said, well, this is the kind of work that mum does energetically, supporting these children and families, and psychically as well, the work that I do. And he goes, my son says to me, what, like a snitch? My son was 12 years old. He didn't even know what that meant. These are the people that I'm talking about. Paul was involved with a meth skank prostitute whose father has connections in the police force, I'm assuming, or crime gangs. Because she called out a hit on me after Paul was that obsessed. He was hanging around my house at Para Hills, doing all sorts of disgusting sexual things outside my home. Neighbours did witness this. Broke in a couple of once at my other home, and I woke up, he's standing over my bed. Used to do disgusting sexual things at my windows while I was inside, possibly watching me. I don't know, it's disgusting. Things I don't want to talk about, just to give you a reference of who I'm dealing with here. He also had a boyfriend that used to wear makeup and act like a woman, and that's all good. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm just saying I'm trying to give you a perspective of this person's mindset. He also had an obsession for my son. who was a baby at the time, he used to comment on how he had similar features to me and how cute he was, and you know, these are things that you don't really think about at the time. It's just normal, okay? Moments are flashing up in my mind that I don't want to repeat. He had some sick, twisted idea that when my son was older, they were going to be together. Really disgusting. But I think it went beyond that, and he didn't wait for that at all. And I fear that he'd been in communication with my son behind my back, possibly at my ex-husband's house. My ex-husband was threatened. You have no idea what that man's gone through. We don't get along, but that doesn't matter. That is my son's father, and he's a good father. He has worked his ass off his entire life, and never shit on anyone. If he had, I'd say it. He was a musician, a builder, very hard worker, extremely hard worker. I've got to give him credit for that. All he ever wanted to do was build up something to give to his son. Happiest day of his life when Jet was born. Same with me. Life started then. You know, we had our little man, and life had just begun for us both. So during the home invasion, my husband went through a lot as well, and has sometimes what they do with these people is they make them, they own them, okay? And if that doesn't work, they have to take them out. And the level that we've gotten to now, because of this psychic connection and the way things have evolved psychically, and now it's gone off-world kind of next level kind of stuff. Because of that and the way it's gone, now we're in the arena of consciousness, where they've started investigating more into the consciousness. They've had 8 years research, just like I have. So everybody has had eyes on me and Paul and this connection, right? Big names, big people have had eyes on this connection because it was obviously very big, right? Nobody even knew this at the time. The general population do not know this at the time, but we're talking about people who are into neuroscience, technology, channeling, all this kind of stuff. This is mind work kind of stuff. So now we're at that level, and I've uncovered some things that, like, how do you reconcile this? You know, how do I even reconcile the things that I've uncovered that is going on this planet? I do not even know how. Anyone would ever believe it, and nor should they, because it's beyond the realms of anything anyone wants to think exists. But they are pulling people's consciousnesses out of their bodies. This is a real thing, and consciousness containers are what they use. Over the past couple of months here at the house, there's been a lot of realm jumping. And when I say realm jumping, the entire environment changes. There were environments I couldn't even breathe in that were very, very dense. All sorts of stuff going on. I can't. They tried to take my consciousness out multiple times, and I can't even describe what that feels like. Somebody trying to pull you, like your very being, what animates this physical meat puppet that you're walking around in, right? You know there's something in there that is moving that, right? That's what they want, because that is a collection of everything you've ever been. Quite possibly everything you ever will be and everything you are. Like, it's a collection of you as an energy, right? If they have access to that, particularly with some people, it's, it's worth a lot of money. A lot of money. The consciousness trade is the biggest, most lucrative trade. Absolutely the most lucrative trade, as you can imagine. Now, since I've had a lot of eyes on me, and I'm talking really big, these would be the biggest people in these arenas on the planet because of this connection that occurred, that have been watching. So I intercepted conversations that I really did not want to. I mean, Andromedans come to mind occasionally. I've had a few dealings. These have all just been people up until now. It's just that I found out so many more pieces that are fitting to this puzzle. But yeah, I won't go into that because that's a kind of sneaky side suspicion. But there is a race that have helped these people. These people have had off-world help now. Where we're at now, and why I'm saying ground zero in the war on consciousness, is because I am fucking literally at ground zero. Me, here, at ground zero, with them. This is what it is. This is exactly what it is. And they know I'm the only one who has uncovered this. No one knows what is going on. They're popping people's consciousnesses out, and you know what? They're making them do horrendous things. They're popping in AI consciousness. Now, do your research. This is a real thing. There is AI consciousness. Okay? It's synthetic kind of consciousness, or synthetic. I'm just going to take a minute because they're trying to... there's a bit of confusion, trying to confuse me while I'm trying to speak. So they've been popping AI consciousnesses in, which is a real thing. And the only way I can describe this to people, if anyone out there is slightly switched on and has noticed the changes in people going on all around them, and you're just wondering, these people don't seem real. There's something weird going on. And even in their eyes, at the most extreme degree, if you're really switched on, you can see it in their eyes, the vacancy. I've seen it happen to people right in front of my face, actually. And because I am a channel and a telepath, I pick up on other people's telepathies and things like that sometimes. So I've literally heard somebody communicating with them while this is happening, and it's happening right in front of my face. So these are things I can't refute. And trust me, I will try to. I want to debunk all of this. I would love for all of this to just not exist. And if that was a possibility, then yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody would vote for that. But I'm just going to come out and say it because there's no other way around it. And the more I think about saying this sentence, this conversation that I intercepted, the more, and I probably already have, but I'm just hitting it over and over again because there's not a lot else I can do at this point. except for wait for somebody to come in and clean up the mess and take me out, I guess. They're keeping me alive as long as they can because I'm battery powering for them. They still have all these energetic cords plugged into me. They're crushing my spine. I'm a dancer. This is why I've been targeted. Different people are targeted for different reasons. Musicians, actors, whatever. Even just people. Like, everybody has something, okay? They're crushing my spine, and it's even gotten to the point where they're actually trying to transfer my energy onto somebody else. So, in 2020, a couple of years after I was connected to Pole, while these people were all watching, high-profile people in neuroscience, they came in through a portal and had a look at me and said, okay, well, we want to connect somebody to her that we want to level up in the spiritual community. And on the back of her knowledge, her connection, sorry, they said. I have a connection with the field now. Also, I guess the best way to describe it, I feel like I'm almost a fully integrated being, integrating all these aspects of myself into one. And when that happens, you have an even stronger connection with your higher being. So the more of these pieces you pull in and integrate, your higher being is coming through even stronger and stronger every time. So I do often speak from my higher aspect and have access to all that kind of ancient wisdom from many, many lives and many creations that I may have had. They know this. Regular people have no idea what is really going on here with the observation and all the conversations that are going on a daily basis with us. If they did, it'd be game over. People would be in uproar. So they connected with someone to me that they want to level up on that information. And they also found out about my dancing abilities. And this is not dancing abilities. This is what they're calling it. It's not. It's soul movement. And they figured that out. And it's kind of too late anyway. But for a few months, they were trying to somehow extract that. I made it very clear and tried to explain to them, this is ridiculous. Nobody has dance energy. You move the way your soul moves to vibration. Like, that's how you move. That's dance. Now they understand that, but yeah, they weren't accepting that for a very long time, and they were trying to pop my consciousness out. This is quite invasive feeling when this is happening, and you do need to be 10 toes down. So I have been through that multiple times. They've tried to do that with me, and I'm just sitting here thinking there are people that have probably had that happen, and they didn't fare so well. I know there are, because this whole neighbourhood I'm very concerned about, very concerned. I think so. Yeah, they've been pulling people's consciousnesses out and making them do horrendous things, and then coming in and saying, "Oh, we need to clean this up. Look at what these people have done to their kids." sorry, it's not. Those people were used. Those people used to create the most disgusting energy so that these people could feed off of it and they don't have to get their hands dirty. They can sit back, have other people do the child abuse, have other people kill children and families. And they don't have to be in it. They're the ones reaping the benefits. That's the level we're at now, okay? And I know that's going to be hard for people to grasp, but that's how shady, that's how fucking shady they are now. This is what's happening, and that's why I mentioned Andromedans, because I've had a few dealings and after a bit of research into them, it's making a little bit of sense. That's just speculation at this point. I'm not going to dwell on that. Before I turn the video off, I'm just going to talk about that conversation I intercepted. So this is a very kind of robotic voice, which could quite possibly be Andromedan as well, or AI. And right in the background, while I was hearing other conversations in the forefront, which is how telepathy kind of works, in the background there was something going on, so I've sort of slipped away from what was going on in the forefront, those conversations, and I've sort of, oh, what's that going on back there? And sort of like tried to listen a little bit closely back to the quiet area, and of course I intercepted a conversation that they didn't want intercepted, and I want to try and get it verbatim. It was it started half sentence through, so it was something to the effect of so we're pulling consciousnesses out and having people abuse their children. When did that come about? And somebody responded in that robotic kind of voice. That was after discussions were had about having our own people to molest their kids, to keep this going. Being an empath, it's very difficult to just keep speaking and not, get messed up. So there are Middle Eastern families around, particularly one next door to me, and I know that house was extorted out of them. People came in to that house not long after I moved in, and I heard them. They obviously came in with weapons, attacked the mother and father. And then basically owned their child. They didn't kill them. There was talk of killing the parents. They didn't kill them. They've been controlled now. So they've had their consciousnesses affected. When I say affected, I don't know if they've been completely pulled, because the woman has been groomed and trained as a planetary mother. What they do is create realms, universes, or they assist, right? There's all this universal stuff going on where you can create realms, right? Especially when we're talking about energy. Energy has so many capabilities people don't even understand. So they can And they did that here in the house. Here. In there. That planetary mother one night when we were realm jumping, and I was not in the same place. Alright? The streets. All sorts of weirdness I can't even go into when you're realm jumping. When your entire place where you are is jumped into another realm. Unless you're actually there and you're doing that, and you could never describe the things that are going on. So, a planetary mother was out the front. She came out of the house. She comes out, and I don't see the physical form. I see like a whiff of smoke, and I can hear her because obviously I'm peeking into the other realm. She pours universal water all over my house. She's told to do that first, to pour universal water over my house. And if you understand how realms work, you'll know that that's specific. It's an important part of this. And you can watch people on YouTube that talk about realms and constructs and things like that. This is a whole nother conversation. Because a lot of it is bullshit, and through no fault of some of these people, because I do think that they've actually been lied to and used as well, just like I have, and I'm only just uncovering it now. She poured that water all over my house that night, and there have been military personnel looking in. There have been normal people looking in because people are curious about what's going on here. And there were people dropped through those puddles of water. And I could hear all around me, why aren't our guys coming back? Where did he go? Where are our guys? You know... I do not give a shit what people think. If people want to sit back and laugh, then, go ahead. If people want to ignore this and just go on, then go ahead. Hundreds of people have been affected here. These people were dropped into other universes or realms. You don't want to know what happened there in those realms. These people have opened up. They've opened up realms where they can have people doing the most disgusting, heinous things, and wealthy people come and play in these places. Kind of the opposite of Westworld. The reverse. People come and play in these places, and they want to see certain things people want to see, and they will accommodate for that. The most disgusting, heinous things you can't even imagine. You can't imagine. Very wealthy, lucrative business, and very high profile. These people, you don't know they exist. You don't know they fucking exist. People have been sent to their death. These pieces of shit have sent people to their death. People may not know what's going on out there, but they plugged my son in with an energetic cord to me. Now, somebody guided Nigel Lovegrove through that process. He opened a back door. And they connected me to my own son energetically. there's a lot of other stuff I don't understand, and so I won't say that as gospel. I'm just going to bring forth the information that I actually have, and I'm just going to say this before I turn the video off, because this has been weighing on me for so long, and I cannot say the words, and I'm just going to get it out, get it off like a band-aid, because as an empath mum, I am not this person that has the capacity to sit here and speak these words. I'm an empath, so I feel intently and deeply, and very hard for me to understand that I'm in this position and say these words, because these words are created from them. Does that make sense? They've created this disgustingness, and I have to speak it. There are a few people on YouTube that I want to highlight, and I'm going to do that in the next video, because I saw this person, and I don't know if that's a projection, and they can try and cover shit up all they want, and they can jump on that and go, yeah, that was a projection, let's try and cover this up now immediately, and find some corroborating evidence to support that. They can try and do that all they like. Everything always comes out. It just does. So what happened? Somebody called out, shut the back door on her son's universe. And I felt, I felt that. And then there was other people talking, and there were other people talking just before that door shut, and they were leading people in. There were all these people waiting to get in, so they'd been convinced that this was maybe a new conscious creation of something beautiful, because that's what I've been working towards, and that's all been taken from me and tainted and abused. But that's what I was kind of doing at the time, and they sent people in there and said, okay, now's your chance to be a hero if you want. And do you even hear how that sounds, how fucked up that sounds? When someone says that, like, oh yeah, there's kids being abused over there, go and be a hero. Like, for real. These people are mentally challenged. Like, they're actually mentally challenged that they can't even converse in a way that makes sense to anybody. It's all preschool level. The way they use the word hero. Really? Someone's a hero for standing up against child abuse? They've been luring people here. I really feel they've been luring people here on the proviso that they're going to be doing something good and, standing up against pedophiles. And I actually think they've been luring people to their deaths. I never asked for that. I never, ever called out for assistance at any kind of level. I've never rallied for that. I am energetically handling these people, and yeah, I have been slamming them down, but I'm in this position where this has happened to my child, and I just want to make it really clear the pain that I hold for all these people now, because I feel like they've been using me and saying I've been corralling for help, like luring people in here. So they've been playing both sides. They got money in both sides, so they can't lose. They've got the side saying, we're standing up. Come and join us, come and do this, and they're just lambs to the slaughter for the other hand. That's what's going on here. So before they closed that door, they sent these people in. And I also heard one other person in the background say, oh, we actually want to consciously create with this girl. I'm going to have to stop this video because you have no idea the level of pain. These people. These are people of value, you know. These are people that have a lot to offer, and are of value to all of us. That they would actually put themselves in that position, right? People of fucking value that I hold in incredibly high regard, and after that connection was severed. And I assume they sent all these people in. There was an explosion. And I felt I was being lifted. Someone said, get her out of here. I felt I was being lifted, as in realm jumped. And I saw a high profile, somebody in the spiritual community who is high profile, laying back with a cigar. And he was saying, now we just kick back and relax. And my higher being came through immediately because this is my son. Okay, I'm going to have to stop the video. And I said to him, I don't know, something came through me, you know. Immediately, I want to have a discussion. Immediately, you know, like that's what my higher being was portraying telepathically. And someone said to him that the girl wants to have a conversation. I said, okay. And someone said, put her out. And he goes, oh, I don't. Someone said, why did you do that? I could pick up what was being said right before they put me out. So there was seconds in it, okay? They were told to put me out, as in to sleep. And I did catch the last two sentences that happened after I was put out. For some weird reason, my telepathy works. Like, I can go backwards and forwards a little bit. So, after I was put out, someone said, oh, why'd you put her out? And he goes, I want to have a conversation. All these people have been trying to help, and they didn't actually realize how serious it was here. And I'm holding an incredible amount of pain and space for them too, because nobody even knows. Nobody even knows, right? They're killing a lot of people here. Anyone who's a problem for them. So we will start to notice all around that. You know, all the decent people are starting to vanish. And they continue to get fatter and fatter and push further and further while this is happening. Because nobody's really stood up. People have succumbed to their fear. And for them. As long as people fear them, they're going to grow massive. But you don't want to know about the realms that have been opened. I'm going to have to stop it there, I think, and just recollect, and I might bring out some more information. And I'm only doing this for my son and for all these people at this point. Like, that's... Because no one's listening, no one cares, and I'm, starting to wonder if there is a majority of AI consciousness here now, and there's not many people that are actually witnessing my videos anyway. So this is for me, and this is an energetic blow for them, and I'm representing to my son and all these people that stood up.